podcast where we put you on the map. This is Ron Costa broadcasting live in Las Vegas from the Mappable USA studios. And folks, I got to tell you, we've been so busy over the last couple of weeks with all this crowdfunding activity. Last weekend, I went to a crowdfunding conference and basically spent the last couple of days just following up on the hundreds of business cards that I created over the whole place and met a lot of really interesting people. And today's show is no different. We're going to continue on with this whole crowdfunding theme, but today we're going to do it from a kind of like a legal aspect as well, because like everything else in the world, when you start doing something, you got to have a lawyer involved somehow. So today we've got Mark Roderick on the line from Flaster Greenberg. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
Great, great. So now you guys are you're out of New Jersey, I believe, right? You're on the East Coast, is that right?
Yep, that is right. Beautiful autumn day here on the East Coast. Just outside Philadelphia is where I'm sitting, looking out at a beautiful retention pond from my window.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Well, listen, hopefully you're more of an Eagles fan than a New York Giants fan then.
I sure am.
Folks, we also have Vicki Hutchmiller on the line as well. Vicki, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, how can you not have a fabulous day in Vegas when it's 80 degrees and it's sunny and perfect fall weather?
I agree. So let's get into this whole conversation. Mark, why don't you tell us about yourself first and about Flaster Greenberg and what you guys are doing in the crowdfunding world?
Sure. Well, it was a clear blue day when I was born. You want me to go that far back?
Oh boy, we don't have that long.
Yeah, so I have been immersed in the crowdfunding world since it began about 5 years ago. I spend 127% of my time exactly in the crowdfunding world, and it's all I've been doing for the last 5 years. So I'm involved in every aspect of all kinds of crowdfunding, and I write a big crowdfunding blog, and I'm just always immersed in it. My law firm is a full service commercial law firm. We do all kinds of stuff. Of course, we only represent good guys, never represent bad guys.
Absolutely.
But
right.
yeah, we do all kinds of business stuff, corporate law. And included in that is an active securities law practice, and crowdfunding is part of that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is a good podcast for people to listen to then, because it sounds like we're going to get hit on every angle here, which is great. So Mark, you found out about the Jobs Act and you kind of like embraced it. Is that what got you interested in this whole thing, or were you in this thing before that?
Yeah, no, I have always represented entrepreneurs. That's sort of, been my practice, and including a lot of, real estate developer entrepreneur types. And when you represent entrepreneurs, you represent people who are often seeking to raise capital. So I've been helping, on the legal side, helping entrepreneurs raise capital for many years. And so when I saw the Jobs Act on the horizon, I said to myself, this is going to be transformative, because when all is said and done, I say this all the time, fortunately there are a lot of complicated rules around it, because otherwise how would I earn a living? But the Jobs Act and crowdfunding is just the Internet. It's just using the Internet to raise capital, or the Internet coming to the capital formation industry, just as it's come to all these other industries, hotels and taxi cabs and finding a spouse and everything else we do online. So it was inevitable that the Internet was going to come to capital formation. And I said to myself, this is going to transform a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So that's how I got into crowdfunding, because I thought it would be really, really cool and exciting and disruptive, and it has turned out to be all those things.
No question about it. And are you seeing a lot of movement right now with Regulation A+, or is it Reg CF, or is there any particular vehicle that most of your clients are trying to pursue?
Well, all of the above. The greatest volume continues to be in what we call Title II crowdfunding, which is the Wild Wild West version, which is only open to accredited investors. It's easy, it's simple, it's fast, it's inexpensive. So that's the most popular kind of online capital formation. Reg CF, is its own animal. There is certainly a lot of activity in that space. I represent a lot of people in that space, but it's, as you and your listeners probably know, it is unique. It's little companies raising small amounts of money, so it's kind of a little niche. And then Regulation A, definitely big. I think there's some misconceptions about Regulation A from Wall Street's point of view, but I am doing a lot of Regulation A offerings. And as is true with the other kinds of crowdfunding, it's a question of, investor education, the sort of retail public becoming aware that there are these terrific opportunities that they've never had before.
Yeah, and then there's also issuer education too, because one of the problems that I see with Reg A is that a lot of these issuers who want to start to get into this, they think they can do it on a shoestring, where it really, to do it successfully, it's something that you're going to have to spend, quite a lot of money into. It's not like you would a traditional IPO, but these people are still spending significant amounts, and they're thinking that they can get in with basically nothing and then have like zero marketing dollars, and that's really what the differentiator is for a successful one versus a failure. At least that's what I'm seeing.
You are 1,000% correct about that. So from the beginning of crowdfunding, I have always said, if you look at my earliest presentations way back, were crowdfunding.
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, yeah, well, hopefully you never will, because maybe I said some wrong stuff too. So I'm just quoting selectively. But, I said crowdfunding is not a technology business. It's not a real estate business. Crowdfunding is a marketing business. So you are absolutely right. People call me and say, well, how much is it going to cost? That's the first, usually the first words out of everyone's mouth. And what they mean is, how much are the legal and accounting fees going to be?
Correct.
And what I try to make as clear as I can in the first phone call is that is not your major cost by any means. You have to be willing to spend a lot of money, like many multiples of the legal and accounting budget, marketing, because it is not build it and they will come in these things. There are a lot of people trying to sell stuff online, and a lot of what they're trying to sell online is a lot sexier than securities. So to get people to come to your website and buy your securities, that is a big hurdle. It's a cost, absolutely.
And besides the investor and issuer education that we like to do on Mappable USA with these different people that we bring on, we also think, and Vicki in particular, we think that educating the audience out there is really important. That's one of the reasons why we put up the Reg crowdfunding.com website. And Vicki, that's going to be more of kind of like a news and a resource for anyone involved in crowdfunding. Is that right?
Exactly, because we believe, just like you've said, that if people don't know that there's an opportunity out there that can help them with whatever it is that they're doing, they're selling, whatever services, nobody knows that you're there. Nobody can use your services or buy your product. So we want to try and make a concerted effort to educate the public so that it helps everybody involved in the process, and that's a challenge.
It is. And Mark, what kind of industries are you looking at in terms of the number of people who are getting into this crowdfunding? Is it real estate? Is it medical? Is it just basically everybody? Or what are you seeing out there in Jersey in your firm?
Well, crowdfunding is and has been almost since the beginning. A good 90% of the volume in crowdfunding is real estate. It continues to be. In the very beginning, people thought crowdfunding was going to be about Silicon Valley and tech companies and so forth. And it was not. That never happened. Of course, there is some technology companies doing successful crowdfunding, but by far the greatest volume is in real estate, and probably because people, can see it on their screen. There's a picture of a building. It's a real thing. They feel comfortable investing in it from 2,000 miles away. So it is mostly real estate, but then after real estate, all kinds of stuff,
Got it.
Technology and medical and everything you can think of. In the Reg CF space, there's one clear winner, and that is breweries. People who make beer.
That's what we love. We love craft breweries. That's our
breweries. So, and you can totally, it makes total sense, the local investors, of course. I mean, I have a local brewery in my little town. So, but that's unique to the Reg CF world.
You think it's a difference if you have an entity that has a fan base that's built in? There's a lot of people who like craft beer. There's a lot of people already there. So if you're a brewery and you have customers that love your beer, that's like an instant, okay, let's crowdfund with you because you love me, I love your money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is also kind of part of the Reg CF world. A lot of those investors, let's just say they have mixed motives about investing. And I don't mean that in a negative or pejorative sense at all. I mean they like the beer. And if investing in this micro craft brewery brings good beer to their town and it sticks around a while, they're not that I'm sort of trying to get inside their heads. They're not looking for a 10 times return on their money. Probably. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They want to be personally involved in what it is they're investing, so that they know and can realize what they're earning. And if you can bring beer into, and I can drink a beer, and I can invest in your company, I have a personal commitment to you, and that makes it easier.
Well, and there's a lot of breweries out there that they have a really great following to begin with. They have a lot of evangelists. Even if you go on some of their Facebook fan pages, Mark, I'm sure you see this, where they have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people liking them. That's pretty strong. But we talked about this so many times. Building the crowd is really the big step here in terms of crowdfunding. You got to build your crowd first. Which brings me to another question I wanted to ask you about. I mentioned the show earlier when I started the show off that I went to a conference in Santa Monica this weekend, and basically the whole show revolved around the word tokenization and security token offerings. Now, you're familiar with those as well, right?
Very familiar. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know you're familiar with them because I actually saw one of your blog posts where you mentioned a bunch of good things that these tokens can do, right? So,
yes.
What a security token can do. Can you go over maybe what you think the three best parts of what a security token can do for you in terms of like raising money and crowdfunding?
Yeah, and I could talk much longer than you want me to about the idea of security tokenization, because as you know, the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency and tokens has just almost consumed, everything else over the last 18
Absolutely.
months.
Yeah.
So, and there's good parts of it and real solid parts of it, and then there's a huge amount of fluff